Good afternoon, judges and audiences. Today, I would like to introduce you to the poem, Bullet Point, written by Jericho Brown. In my opinion, this poem is pretty relatable with over half of the population in the world, due to the recent outbreak of the coronavirus. Can you imagine that in some places, people believe that Asians, like me, are the ones to start the virus, and there will be a high chance of catching the virus if standing too closely to us. Furthermore, some places even refused to let Asians enter just because of our races or skin color rather than our health condition. To highlight this problem, Jericho Brown connected the phrase bullet point with racism and displayed it with a free verse poem, allowing the poet to express himself more freely without limitations. Mainly, he wanted people to know that if he was ever found dead near police custody, he would not be the one to kill himself. He pointed out the serious problem of racism in the USA and the rest of the world, and stood up for those who have been treated differently all over the world. First of all, what is racism? Racism is antagonism or prejudice directed towards a certain race or ethnic group. Let's take Martin Luther King as an example. In one of his famous speeches, I Have a Dream, there's a line where he said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." This line displayed his immense hope for America and also the rest of the world to become a better place where racism would no longer exist. Let's stop for a minute and look at this situation from a different perspective. Imagine you and everyone else in the world are all semi-blind, meaning that we would not be able to see the colors or shades like we can now. We would only be able to see the silhouette of a human being. In that case, will we judge others so easily compared to now? Will we label others who have different skin color from ours? And will we still judge others by their skin color and not their personality? As human, whether our skin color or appearances, I strongly believe that we should treat others just the way we want to be treated. After all, we're the same species that are designed to live a fair life together on this planet. Another main theme on this poem is directed towards the act of violence. Brown used words like hang, kill, and shoot to put emphasis on the problem in the society. Brown stated in the poem that if he was found anywhere dead near a police officer, that it would be a murder and not suicide. Let's take a look at another example, George Floyd. A video captured of a terrible scene of a police officer kneeling on a man's neck, and that man, George Floyd, suffocated as life slowly drained out of him. Brown suggested that he trusted the maggots more than the police's Brown suggested that he trusted the maggots more than the police due to the continuous breakouts of murders caused by the cops. In my opinion, this poem fits right into the society now, and I am deeply inspired by his bravery for standing up to the cops, and also for the determination that seeps through every word in his poem. So without further ado, I will now recite this poem to you. I will not shoot myself in the head, and I will not shoot myself in the back, and I will not hang myself with a trash bag. And if I do, I promise you, I will not do it in a police car while handcuffed, or in a jail cell of a town I only know the name of, because I have to drive through it to get home. Yes, I may be at risk, But I promise you, I trust the maggots who live beneath the floorboards of my house to do what they must to any carcass, more than I trust a police officer of the law of the land to shut my eyes like a man of God might, or to cover me with a sheet so clean my mother could have used it to tuck me in. When I kill me, I will do it the same way most Americans do. I promise you, cigarette smoke or a piece of meat on which I choke, or so broke I freeze, and one of these winters we keep calling worst. I promise if you hear of me dead anywhere near a cop, then that cop killed me. He took me from us and left my body, which is, no matter what we've been taught, greater than a settlement. A city can pay a mother to stop crying, and more beautiful than the new bullet fished from the folds of my brain. Thank you for your unwavering attention.
I'm just going to concentrate on one small phrase. When it says, he took me from us, who is he, who is me, and who is us?
The he is the cops for murdering all the black people that are under custody, and the me is Jericho Brown. He pictures himself being killed by a cop, and the us is directed towards all the readers to connect him and his readers more closely.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the maggots. You mentioned that in your introduction, that he compares the policeman to the maggots and he trusts the maggots more. Now, maggots are usually something we think of as pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
So, but he is saying better than the policeman. What kind of positive image does he give the maggots? So, what's good about the maggots in the poet's mind?
I feel like the police, because they're kind of racist towards the black people, and they kill them without a specific reason, so then he thinks the maggots are more innocent than the police, and he trusted the maggots more and he just wanted to rot in his home instead of being killed by the police.
Okay, second line from the bottom. Why does the writer use beautiful, more beautiful than a new bullet?
In the poem it says, more beautiful than the new bullet fished from the folds of my brain. And I think by that he means like no amount of things can be equal to his own life and other people's life, because you cannot take back life when it's dead. So it says more beautiful than a new bullet fished from the folds of my brain.
The title, Bullet Points. Can you tell us some of the different ways that title can be interpreted?
I think one of the ways it can be interpreted is the bullets that came from the police, and it represents the racism of a police that kills the black people in America.
It's also a pun. So bullet points in a different setting. Have you heard of this phrase in another setting, like in a presentation or something like that? Can you give us another way to explain it?
Maybe like bullet points to list all your ideas. Thank you.